Dinner's out of sight. It isn't easy living in the White House, and apparently it's not easy guarding the people who live there either. A Secret Service agent from the Clinton days is breaking the traditional code of silence. He's talking about his days guarding several first families. But does he really think Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is mean? He sets the record straight with Paul Boyd.
This is the way the movies portray a Secret Service agent. Clint Eastwood as a steely-eyed guardian in the line of fire. Well, this guy is the real thing. Dan Emmett spent 21 years in the Secret Service, protecting President Bill Clinton, President George Bush, and President George W. Bush. Now he's giving an unprecedented look at the most elite group of bodyguards on Earth.
Driving the president, flying on board Air Force One, running with the president. These are things that had never been written about, and I wanted to break some new ground.
Emmett's just written a controversial book called Within Arm's Length. He says in the early days after Bill and Hillary Clinton moved into the White House, the young and inexperienced White House staff were disrespectful to agents. Many viewed the Secret Service as the hired help, he writes.
There was some resentment there.
One newspaper reporting on the book says Hillary is portrayed as being aloof with agents and, quote, never said thank you to agents, unlike her husband Bill and their daughter. But Emmett disputes that.
The book is quoted that Hillary never said thank you, unlike her husband or daughter.
That is not in the book.
Okay.
That is absolutely not in the book.
Emmett does write about the time he was driving President Clinton, Hillary, and daughter Chelsea in the Beast, the heavily armored presidential limo. Dropping the family at the White House, he writes, I heard President Clinton and Chelsea saying thank you, which I later discovered was always their habit. Hillary exited in silence. I replied, my pleasure. But Emmett insists there is no implied criticism of Hillary.
The fact that she didn't say thank you, that didn't bother me in the least. We were not there to be their best friends. We were there to protect them.
With all due respect, though, Dan, it sounds a little bit like after the book's publishing, you're trying to have it a bit both ways, where you want the book to have a little bit of punch and a little bit of zest, and now you're maybe backing off it a little bit because you don't want to offend anybody.
No, absolutely not. I simply want to be quoted correctly. The Clintons treated the Secret Service very well. I have absolutely nothing but admiration and respect for that family.
One of Emmett's biggest security nightmares was President Clinton's obsession with jogging on the streets of D.C.
You're taking a sitting president into morning rush hour, Washington, D.C. You have absolutely no idea who was out there and who's waiting.
Emmett's book is ruffling feathers in the corridors of power. A Secret Service spokesman says, we stress the importance of not sharing anecdotes about the personal, private moments of the protectees.
What do you say to people who believe this book is a breach of trust? You're the Secret Service. You're not supposed to be telling these stories.
I would say that it's not. There's not one thing in there that compromises operational security.
Emmett was a Marine Corps captain. He served 21 years in the Secret Service. And when we come back...